Hey, Creative Writing. It's Thursday, May 7th, 2020. Today, we are focusing on possible conflict that could arise in your short story based on the plot summary that you identified and selected after brainstorming on Tuesday and the characters that you started to develop yesterday. So remember that plot always, always, always starts with someone who wants something. As Kurt Vonnegut said, something as small as a glass of water. A lot of you in your journal prompts that you've submitted so far have been writing about these really adventurous, kind of crazy things. For sure, move forward with that if you love writing about that. I'm very entertained by it. But if you want your story to be simple and to have your conflict to be a little bit more subtle, also feel free to do that. There's plenty of conflict in just emotion and somebody wanting something and not being able to get it. So feel free to play with that spectrum of conflict that we have. All right. So conflict, if you are kind of struggling to come up with what you want that conflict to be, remember that there are different types of conflict that appear in narratives. It can be man versus man, so two characters kind of dueling it out. Man versus self, so an internal conflict. Man versus God, so potentially some resentment towards kind of the world and what's happening. Man versus machine. That machine can be a literal machine, or it could also be the machine of society and wanting to fight back against the norm. And man versus nature. So, again, that could be something like storm. It could be something like uh, uh, agriculture. It could be something like like an animal. Up to you. What do these mean to you? Conflict comes in many different boxes. If you're getting stuck, there are some tricks to finding a way into a good story, especially remember with a short story, you want it to happen pretty quickly because you have a condensed amount of time. So don't forget your character wants something they're not getting, a glass of water. You want to capture a moment after which nothing will ever be the same. You want to find the right events in the right order to make some character crack. Your character finds themselves intersecting with circumstances that are just too much. Relatable right now, for instance. Maybe some of you are feeling this way. You want to put your character in a situation and watch them squirm. You have the control. That's what makes it exciting. These are some tricks if you get stuck. I won't go through all of them again, but I went through them and we talked about conflict the first time. So use these slides to guide you if you're struggling to come up with an issue to feature in your story. So this is the journal entry for today. I want you to brainstorm 2 minor and 1 major conflict that could happen in your story. Explain what happens in detail, the effect it has in detail, and the resolution that is found in detail. Remember, happy ending is not required. So if you want the resolution to be like things still kind of suck, that's okay. Just make sure that we found some sort of arc within your story. So that's 1 major conflict, 2 minor conflicts. For example, major conflict in The Swimmer is, of course, going to be the fact that by the end, he's disoriented, he's getting in arguments with people, he's forgetting who he is and what time it is of the year. But the minor conflicts are things like how he solves crossing the road, how he solves getting through a pool that's ice cold, how he plans his trip. Those are all things, problems and solutions, and wants that he figures out how to get. All right. Okay. Tomorrow, setting.